Om Namo Narayana. Welcome. Today we are starting Canto 2 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and I am in the most unceremonious bit of clothing you could possibly imagine. Led Zeppelin t-shirt, and my hair's pulled back. I just came back from a run. It's early in the morning, I haven't gone to work yet, and I'm training for a marathon, and I actually prefer not to run in the morning. I like doing it right when I get home from work, but when you go out for a little while, it cuts into your evening, and I wasn't sleeping last night, so I thought I'd just go out. Haven't even showered yet, because I was thinking about the Srimad Bhagavatam and just wanted to read a chapter and then I'll shower. So I said it was unceremonious, but it's actually not. You can't quite see it, or maybe you can, but this is actually Sri Krishna. There we are. There he is. It's actually a mask, but I've pulled it back. I know there's a big debate, like, oh, you shouldn't wear things and whatever. In America, we have so much stuff plastered with dancing Shiva and Ganesha. But if someone comes up to me and says, oh, you shouldn't wear that, I'm going to pull out my wallet where I have the Hare Krishna chant in it. I'm going to show them the Hare Krishna bracelet I wear, the necklace, and we can talk stuff that they probably are oblivious to. And if it's an Indian that's saying something, I hope they're appreciative that I'm not just wearing this because it looks cool. I'm wearing it because this is my God, and I feel good when I'm wearing this. Anyways, let's see how we can do this. Slightly out of breath, and then we will dive into Canto 2. Questions, comments, and all that good stuff down below. And anything you want to say, go ahead, just as we did in Canto 1. And if you haven't watched those videos, go back. I read the full book. So here we go. Canto 2 is entitled The Cosmic Manifestation. Chapter 1, The First Step in God Realization. Sri Sukademi Goswami said, My dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists. Those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society, O Emperor. The lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night either in sleeping or in sex indulgence, and in the daytime either in making money or maintaining family members. Persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers like the body, children, and wife. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction. Descendant of King Bharata, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember Lord Vishnu, who is the super soul, the controller, and savior from all miseries. The highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember Lord Vishnu at the end of life. O King, mainly the topmost transcendentalists, who are above the regulative principles and restrictions, take pleasure in describing the glories of the Lord. At the end of the Dvapara Yuga, I studied this great supplement of Vedic literature named the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is equal to all the Vedas from my father, Srila Dvaipayana Vasudeva. O King, I was certainly situated perfectly in transcendence, yet I was still attracted by the delineation of the pastimes of the Lord, who is described by enlightened verses. That very Srimad Bhagavatam I shall recite before you, because you are the most sincere devotee of Lord Krishna. One who gives full attention and respect to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam achieves unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, the giver of salvation. Constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. What is the value of a prolonged life which is wasted and experienced by years in this world? Better a moment in full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interest. The saintly king Kvatvanga, after being informed that all the duration of his life would be only a moment more, at once freed himself from all material activities and took shelter of the supreme safety of Lord Vishnu. Maharaja Parishit, now your duration of life is limited to 7 more days. So during this time, you can perform all those rituals which are needed for the best purpose of your next life. At the last stage of one's life, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of death, but one must cut off all attachment to the material body and everything pertaining to it and all desires thereof. One should leave home and practice self-control. In a sacred place he should bathe regularly and sit down in a lonely place duly sanctified. After sitting in the above manner, make the mind remember the 3 transcendental letters, A, U, and by regulating the breathing process, control the mind so as not to forget the transcendental seed. Gradually, as the mind becomes progressively spiritualized, withdraw it from sense activities, and by indulgence the senses will be controlled. The mind, too, absorbed in material activities, can be engaged in the service of Lord Vishnu and become fixed in full transcendental consciousness. Thereafter, you should meditate upon the limbs of Vishnu, one after another, without being deviated from the conception of the complete body. Thus the mind becomes free from all sense objects. There should be no other thing to be thought upon, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, is the ultimate truth. The mind becomes completely reconciled in Him only. One's mind is always agitated by the passionate mode of material nature and bewildered by the ignorant mode of nature. But one can rectify such conceptions by the relation of Vishnu, and thus become pacified by cleansing the dirty things created by them. O King, by this system of remembrance, and by being fixed in the habit of seeing the all-good personal conception of the Lord, one can very soon attain devotional service to the Lord under His direct shelter. The fortunate king, inquiring further, said, O Brahmana, please describe in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied, and how can the conception be fixed so that the dirty things in a person's mind can be removed. Sukadeva Goswami answered, one should control the sitting posture, regulate the breathing process by yogic pranayama, and thus control the mind and senses, and with intelligence apply the mind to the gross potencies of the Lord, called Vriyat Rupa. The gigantic manifestation of the phenomenal material world as a whole is the personal body of the Absolute Truth, wherein the universal result in past, present, and future material time is experienced. The gigantic universal form of Lord Vishnu within the body of the universal shell, which is covered by 7-fold material elements, is the subject for Virat conception. Persons who have realized it have studied that the planets known as Patala constitute the bottoms of the feet of the universal Lord, and the heels and toes are the Rasatala planets. The ankles are the Mathatala planets, and his shanks constitute the Talatala planets. The knees of the universal form of the planetary system of the name Sutala, and the 2 thighs are the Vitala and Atala planetary systems. The hips are Mahitala, and the outer space is the depression of his navel. The chest of the original personality of the gigantic form is the luminary planetary system. His neck is the Mahar planets. His mouth is the Kshanas planets, and his forehead is the Tapas planetary system. The topmost planetary system, known as Satyaloka, is the head of he who has 1,000 heads. His arms are the demigods, headed by Indra. The 10 directional sides are his ears, and physical sound is his sense of hearing. His nostrils are 2 Ashvinini Kumaras, and the material fragrance is his sense of smell. His mouth is the blazing fire. The sphere of outer space constitutes his eye pits, and the eyeball is the sun as the power of seeing. His eyelids are both the day and night, and in the movements of his eyebrows, Brahma and similar supreme personalities reside. His palate is the director of water, Varuna, and the juice and essence of everything is his tongue. When they say that the Vedic hymns are the cerebral passage of the Lord and his jaws of teeth are the Yama, god of death, who punish sinners. The art of affection is his set of teeth, and the most alluring, illusory material energy is his smile. The great ocean of material creation is but the casting of his glance over us. Modesty is the upper portion of his lips, hankering is his chin. Religion is the breast of the Lord, and irreligion is his back. Brahmaji, who generates all living beings in the material world, is his genitals, and Mitra, Varunas, are his two testicles. The ocean is his waist, and the hills and mountains are the stacks of his bones. O king, the rivers are the veins of his gigantic body, the trees are the hairs of his body, and the omnipotent air is his breath. The passing ages are his movements, and his activities are the reactions of the three modes of material nature. O best among the Kurus, the clouds which carry water are the hairs on his head. The termination of days or nights are his dress, and the supreme cause of material creation is his intelligence. His mind is the moon, the reservoir of all changes. The principle of matter, Mahatattva, is the consciousness of the supreme, omnipresent Lord, as asserted by the experts, and Rudradeva is his ego. The horse, mule, camel, and elephant are his nails, and wild animals, and all quadrupeds are situated in the belt zone of the Lord. Varieties of birds are indications of his masterful artistic sense. Manu, the father of mankind, is the emblem of his standard intelligence, and humanity is his residence. The celestial species of human beings, like the Gandharvas, Vidyadharvas, Karanyas, and angels, all represent his musical rhythm, and the demonic soldiers are representations of his wonderful prowess. The Virat Purusha's face is the Brahmanas, his arms are the Kshatriyas, his thighs are the Vaishyas, and the Sudras are under the protection of his feet. All the worshipful demigods are also overtaken by him, and it is the duty of everyone to perform sacrifices with feasible goods to appease the Lord. I have thus explained to you the gross, material, gigantic conception of Lord Vishnu. One who seriously desires liberation concentrates his mind on this form of the Lord, because there is nothing more than this in the material world. One should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations, just as an ordinary person creates thousands of manifestations in his dreams. One must concentrate the mind on him, the only, all-blissful, absolute truth. Otherwise, one will be misled, and will cause his own degradation. There ends Chapter 1. Whew, what a description! Give me 1 second and just a few thoughts. There's a word that came up here, and I always question it. Whenever I see it, it was talking about the celestial species of the human beings, and it mentioned angels. So, I wonder if this is a mistranslation that Swami Prabhupada has done in this book and others, because I wonder, angels is a Catholic or a Judeo-Christian idea. Do we have angels in Hinduism? I know we have demigods, but do we have angels? Because for me, the concept of angel in the Christian form is very different than the godly situation we have in the Hindu world. So whenever I see the word angels, I always wonder, is this a mistranslation? It's not a deliberate, horrible mistranslation. It's basically saying, here's a word in Sanskrit that has a meaning, but it's something that maybe Westerners don't get. So we're going to use the word angels instead, because it's kind of, maybe an angel's kind of like that. And it's just easier. But it ends up being perpetrated, and then people say, well, there's angels in Hinduism. And I just don't think there is. I honestly don't think there are angels. I think there's different types of gods, and I think this is wrong. Please let me know in the comments down below. Two other thoughts here. I was watching a video the other day. I think I'll link to it down below, by this ISKCON teacher in India who I just really like. I consider him, I guess, a faraway distant guru, because I watch his videos almost daily, and I've written him a letter, but whatever. He hasn't gotten back, but still, it's just, I have his book, and he has a video where he says, why did Lord Krishna let the destruction of the Vedic culture occur? If that is the great holy culture, why was it overrun by the Muslims and Christians, etc.? And I think this chapter actually kind of sort of answered that question. The gist of this video is basically people, they didn't believe. They did what they were supposed to do, but they didn't believe. Their faith was, well, I'm eating vegetarian. Okay. But a meat eater who believes is actually more powerful than a vegetarian who doesn't. They may or may not have chanted every day, or they may not have done things every day, but it wasn't here. It was just blah, 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 blah. It was like the equivalent in the West for me would be like someone who isn't Christian, never reads the Bible, thinks about God once in a while, maybe when they need something, but they go to church on Easter and Christmas. They're there twice a year, all repentant, but the rest of the year they don't care. Is it really here? Because if you really care, would you only go to church twice a year? And I think this chapter says that. I think it actually said there, or implied that most people don't actually, they're not there. They don't have the heart. They just have the substance or the look, or they're going through the ritual, or they're doing what they're supposed to, but the heart's not there. And that's the problem. So it wasn't that Krishna let things happen, it was that the people in the Kali Yuga, as we read at the end of Canto 1, it just happened and they lost their way. Last thing I want to say is related to this and my running. I was thinking about this just last night. I think this is why I was excited to read the book this morning, before I started my day. I was thinking about why I run. When I first started running, it was a dare. Not a dare, but a challenge from my girlfriend. Yeah, you should do this. Okay. I'm gonna be a crazy person now who doesn't do any physical fitness stuff. And then she enrolled us in a couple races, a 5K and a 5-miler, and it was great. It was fun. It was fun doing it with her. It was great to be on that side of things. And I suddenly realized I can actually do this. Like, I didn't know I could. And in the process, I learned a lot about my body. I've learned about my eating habits, which I don't eat enough. I've learned about my walking habits and why I've had literally foot problems for 25 years and could never figure them out. And running, I've figured them out. It's amazing. But that's past, and now I'm in the training. And I thought about last night, why do I do this? And I'll tell you my answer, and then we'll close this video. And I say these things just because it was coming to me while I was reading this, but also to spark conversation and whatever. I run to know myself better. And to commit myself to something that I've never done, and to challenge myself. And also, I do that to be able to express myself in the world in ways I couldn't, and fulfill my purpose that Sri Krishna has for me. And my goal in life, I've talked to this with other people, is not to just have some spiritual experience and find some happiness. I've had a spiritual experience that I can talk about, and I think I mentioned it, and it was wild, changed my life, but that was just a step. My thing is, I want to know God intimately. I want to know God intimately. And there's things I could do better, there's things I could do worse, but I'm doing what I feel pulled to do, and running for me is a way to know God. And I chant when I'm running, that I'll chant in my head, and I'll go through stuff, and I actually have to get a new mala, matter of fact, that I can carry easily, and yeah, that's why I run. Anyways, just some random thoughts this morning. I gotta go take a shower. My hair's all messed up. Get ready for work. So thank you for joining me on this. And as we go through Canto 2, there is our wonderful Lord. I hunted and hunted to find this. I wanted something like this. and if I'm not using it, I can drape it around things. Thank you for hanging out with me on a long video. Thoughts, comments, all that good stuff below. In the next video, we'll pick up with Chapter 2 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.